Hello and welcome to the Geeky Brummie podcast. As you can see, things have changed slightly. New studio basement. Welcome to our new shiny studio. I'm your host, Mr. Ryan Parrish, and joining me today, as always, Mr. Keith Bloomfield. Welcome.
Hello.
And Mr. Matt Lovell is present.
Hello.
Matt, have you been up to anything geeky over the last couple of weeks? I know you hosted a Esports tournament here at our current locale.
We did indeed. So at Millennium Point, we hosted VS Fighting X. As the name suggests, it's like the 10th tournament for VS Fighting, which is a beat-em-up tournament. So it has Tekken, Street Fighter, Super Smash Bros, all of that kind of thing. And this is the first year they've done it in about 3 years due to the pandemic. And it was a really good turnout, highest footfall they've seen, I think, and the most popular, the most watched tournament they've had.
I mean, coming off the back of the Commonwealth Games Esports tournament as well, it's kind of been a bit of a golden month for esports in Birmingham.
It has, but the recognition is still non-existent, which is frustrating. Because there's so much stuff going on, but there's just not enough. People just aren't aware of it at all. And even though you're talking about it, it's on Twitter, it's on social media, and take VS Fighting. Yeah, there are some of the top pros from around the world were here over that weekend, 19th, 20th. That's it. And people just don't know about it.
And there's some really fantastic games they play at VS Fighting. It's just not Tekken. I think it's Tekken, it's Street Fighter.
There's Tekken 7, there's Street Fighter 2, there's BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, all sorts of fighting games. But also, I think what's really good about the fighting game genre for esports is that it's a lot more diverse. So you get a lot more different types of people playing those games, and the audience is a lot more diverse than it is normally. So if you look at something like, let's say, Dota 2, there's quite a clear sort of demographic, whereas you look at fighting games and actually there's quite a diverse audience base and player base, which I think is fantastic.
Awesome. So, and if you're wanting to ever get involved in versus fighting, how would you get involved?
So it's run by Electronic Dojo. So their website is electronicdojo.com, and they'll post all the news about the tournaments. The tournament is coming back again next year in August. So anyone interested, check out their website.
Awesome, thank you. Anything else being up to keep players? I finished, speaking of fighting games, I finished Tekken Bloodline, which is the 6-episode anime on Netflix. Really good. Really good. So is that going back to the original Tekken games, or is it a bit more?
So it starts with Tekken 3, right. So the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3, but it covers all the lore, because Tekken does have lore, despite what people think. Absolutely bonkers, but Tekken does have lore. And I think what I really enjoy about the anime is just they captured the feeling of the games really well. It's the animation style is brilliant. They use a lot of the moves the characters use, but also everything down to the effects when they're blocking and punching. They all have different sort of effects, and that's incorporated into the anime as well. I think the only downside to it is that it is 6 episodes long. It had potential to just have so much more.
No. Want to revisit maybe. It's Netflix, so they might renew it and then cancel it halfway through the second season and leave a massive cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It seems to be their plan with no shows. So. Awesome, thank you. Keith, how about yourself? Been up to anything interesting?
I've been mostly trying to catch up with the giant read pile I've got coming to the door over the last few months. So I'm having quite a good time reading through a bunch of comics to get caught up. So I'm just started the Image 30th Anniversary Anthology set that I've got 3 issues of that at the moment, which I'm starting to get through. It's quite good. Bunch of other stuff, so I'm retweeting a lot of Image stuff. Which is great. So I'm kind of getting that pile down now, so I can just create a new one over the next couple of weeks.
Is your loving partner like fighting getting past that pile at the side of the bed?
It goes from one place to another, so it's kind of like it's not easy to disguise a huge pile of a couple of hundred comics, which is not great. But I'm going to put them in boxes so I can hide the boxes. I've been catching up with Locke and Key on Netflix because for some reason I've not watched the 2nd season. Which came out a while ago. The 3rd season's just launched, so I'm going to do a bit of catch up on that.
I'm curious if they're going to cross it over with Sandman or something.
No, because it's over now. This 3rd season is the final season.
Well, they might drop Lock and Key into the Sandman or something.
I doubt that's on the cards, really. It seems a bit. I think it was hard enough for them to do it in comics, so I imagine true. Like, they didn't do it in Netflix. But I'm kind of enjoying that. Slow start, but the last few episodes have built up to be quite intense and exciting, so I'm kind of enjoying that. And then I've been playing the new Destiny season, which launched this week as we record, which is the Season of Plunder.
Yes. So I think there was, I'm not sure if it's still valid, but there was a 30th anniversary special where you could get Destiny and all the DLCs
on Steam.
On Steam,
I think that's still valid. At the moment of recording, might not just be when you hear this.
Just double check Steam, might be around. But it's worth picking up because it's got all the DLC included.
I forget how much I actually enjoy playing Destiny. So it's a good game. I kind of like just charging through things and shooting aliens.
To me, it always looks like a squad shooter, though. It doesn't look like there's much you can do solo. So I got the wrong opinion from that.
Yeah, because basically I only do everything solo because I don't have any friends online that I can play with. So you can have fire teams.
Yeah.
So on certain events you do have to play with other players.
Yeah.
But it's just matchmaking. So you can kind of just coast through. Let the heavy hitters do all the work. You just mop up.
Maybe we should have a play with Geeky Brummie. So I think we've all got Game Pass now. So.
Yeah, I do quite like it. And the Season of Plunder is quite good because you're collecting a bunch of resources and create building treasure maps and stuff. So it's good. It's quite good. So I'm quite enjoying this. It's got me back on my Destiny. I kind of drifted off. Started again a few weeks back and kind of drifted off. But now it's pretty intense.
Because if I remember correctly, it was always supposed to be a 3-game plan for Bungie. So there's a Destiny 1, and that's kind of dead now. Very. So do you think Destiny 3 might pop up?
I don't know. I think the way they're doing this kind of like new. They got. I think there's a new expansion which is called Lightfall, which is continuing the story. So I think it's easy enough for them to just keep continuing the story rather than launch a new game as such. I think Destiny 2 worked because it kind of reworked a lot of stuff that kind of wasn't quite working in the first version.
Right.
But I think it's a well-established platform. It's like, why relaunch it with a new game? Just keep adding content, because that's what I want.
Why are game developers scared of the number 3?
It usually means bad things.
But also, I think it's a really good point because live service games, you kind of wonder, do you need sequels? I mean, again, take the whole Overwatch 2, all people just there being like, does it need to be a number 2 or can it just be?
Well, if you look at a game like Titanfall, which Titanfall 1, very well regarded multiplayer only shooter, then Titanfall 2, very short single player game. It was absolutely fantastic and go and play it because it's always dirt cheap. It's really, really worth playing a single player game. But the multiplayer is pretty much hacked and broken now. And because they're making so much money off Apex Legends, I think there's probably just one person in the closet left working on Titanfall 2. So they've just got nobody to go and fix all the issues. So maybe that's due a sequel, I think. And a lot of people probably appreciate a sequel, especially the single player from Titanfall 2. So they left it very open without putting any spoilers into it.
Yeah, but I think it depends on, because things like Destiny, they were always meant to be a live service sort of game with seasons, that kind of thing, where something like Titanfall 2 was a bit different. So it's a difficult one, really, isn't it?
My issue with live service games is it means constant grinding development. So you can't just release something. It's constant maintenance for them, and it's a real big struggle for some companies. So, I mean, probably one for a lot wider chat later on. Sorry, Keith.
Just fighting the virus. It's not COVID, which is really disappointing. So I find I've got into a mindset now that if I feel poorly, it's like, I want that affirmation of the COVID test that goes, you are ill.
Yeah.
Because when it doesn't come up and you go, so I'm not the kind of ill where I can go, look, here's proof.
Yeah.
And I have to stay home in bed now for a few days.
Just get rid of it.
Just have to do it. And bring roll, whatever it is. Put vinegar in the test result, whatever it is.
Coca-Cola, I think, was all they found.
Yeah.
Have you not had it yet?
COVID?
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
But thank you, Keith.
Yeah, how about you, Ryan? What have you been up to last week?
So I returned to Cineworld before its inevitable disappearance, because I think they're heading towards bankruptcy, unfortunately, which you probably might have seen in the news. But went to watch Nope in IMAX. So I know it's been Jordan Peele's most controversial film so far, and it's a very horrible phrase, but Marmite movie. So you either really love it, or you're not going to enjoy it, because it's. I was expecting a twist because it's a Jordan Peele movie. The twist that happens is not the twist I was expecting.
Isn't that good?
That's really good. I really enjoyed it, but some people obviously didn't like the way it changed, the direction it changed to.
Is this the whole kind of M. Night Shyamalan thing going on over
Yeah,
there, where
yeah.
everyone's like, hey, this is great stuff ever made, and then they go, oh no, we don't like this.
But the cast is fantastic. They've got Daniel Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer, and I believe Stephen Yeun. So they're all fantastic in it. The only thing I'd probably say it needs more Stephen Yeun in it. And really hard not to spoil it because it's quite a big twist. Because if you are going to watch it, I really do recommend you watching it. It's a fantastic spectacle to watch, and I would say it deserves to be watched in the cinema. So if you have got time before it disappears, try and go and watch it, especially in IMAX, because it deserves that format. But it's a very good allegory of the way Hollywood treats people and animals at the same time as well. So it's really fantastic to just watch and think the plot develops quite significantly. So the first two acts are pretty just standard Jordan Peele movie, and then the third act changes into something completely different.
Cool. I'm off to see it after we record.
Yes. Yeah, really recommend it. Really enjoyed it. Elsewise, still playing Forza Horizon 5 because we've got time for anything else. That's about it.
No MasterChef.
MasterChef is on. No Master Chief.
No
I've
MasterChef.
still not finished playing through Halo 1. That far behind, but yeah. But MasterChef has returned. Celebrity MasterChef this time, so I'm not feeling it as much. Leslie Joseph got through, which Black was went out.
So I've actually seen an episode of that now, this time.
Yeah.
I was watching it last night.
Yeah.
And it was the guy with the grey top knot doing...
The footballer.
Yeah,
Jimmy Buffet? I don't know. Something like that. It's got a name like that. It's a football person that I just completely switch off as soon as football people on. He's on Soccer AM apparently, if that makes any kind of difference to people.
We're probably not Soccer AM's target audience.
Yeah. It was one of those. It's like, oh yeah, you're doing the cookie stuff. Well, then you. Yeah. But
So without going back to the whole cinema thing, without
Yes.
going too deep into it, so for people who aren't local to Birmingham,
yes.
the five-way Cineworld is quite a sort of centrepiece, I'd probably say, in terms of it's probably one of the most popular cinemas to go to for Brummies in the city centre. So what do you think is going to be the repercussions of having that closed?
Well, we're kind of lucky in Birmingham that we've got an embarrassment of riches at the cinema. Nothing where to the standard of many years ago. So go to BMAC, there's a really good exhibit about the history of cinema in Birmingham at the moment called Wonderland.
Wonderland, yeah.
We go and watch that. They close in October, but go and have a picture of that. That's why the audio team is really recommended. But we've got the Odeon on New Street, which we colloquially nicknamed as the Odious because it's not had any money spent on it for quite a long time. There's the Odeon at Broadway Plaza, which is about 3 minutes walk from the Cineworld. So I'm thinking Odeon are probably just rubbing their hands together to get all that kind of trade move over if it does go under. Well, we've also got some fantastic independent cinemas. We've got the Electric, which is the oldest working cinema in the UK. Really recommended. They've just got a 35mm projector installed a few months ago, so you can go and watch some classic 35mm movies. We've also got the MAC as well. So the MAC does quite a lot of independent and foreign cinema. They'll do film festivals. BIFF is usually there. They'll occasionally have an anime season, I think, in association with Japanese cinema in London. And we have Key's favourite, which is the Real over in Quinton, which is just outside Birmingham, but it's close enough that we can count it.
That's cheap.
Yeah, it's a very cheap cinema, and it's a proper old style.
Old school cinema, yeah. I went to see like things there in the 80s.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but of course over in Digweed you've got the Mockingbird Cinema.
Of course,
as well.
Almost got Mockingbird, yeah.
every man.
Yes. Where people eat burgers and really loud nachos on big comfy sofas.
See, work at the Everyman, that would give me anxiety if I have to like go and give food to people in a really dark cinema. I don't know where they are.
Why is it the two loudest food stuffs possible, which is popcorn and nachos, are traditional cinema foods?
So there's our weekly question. Answer on the postcard.
Because it was probably cheap.
Yeah,
That was probably the reason that those foods was.
But they're both incredibly loud. Especially
popcorn's
popcorn's reasonable, but nachos is not a cinema food to me.
Yeah, but like you should have eaten that before the film even starts. Really, if you come in with the nachos,
You get those jalapenos, don't you?
You're going to eat that before the film starts.
I never understand those people who go to a 4DX screening with like a tray of nachos because obviously you're just going to go up front.
I don't go to a 48 screening at all. Yeah, one of the things with the Cineworld on Broad Street is though that they haven't had posters in the displays outside for ages. It's like, I want to know what films are on. I don't want to know that you've got 4DX screens and
They don't have any films that's supporting it. They've got Minions Rise of Gru.
Yeah, they got a few.
And
things.
Nope.
Thor. There's a few.
There's a Thor. There's Bodies, I think, which is the other one that's out there, which is a horror film in the middle of August. And there's Fisherman's Friends 2. Perfect holiday movie.
Cool. I hope we get a Fisherman Friends 3.
Okay, having only seen the adverts on the side of buses, is it anything to do with the sweets?
No.
They missed a trick there.
That would have been a great.
I was there being like, they have done really well to make two films out of it.
I'm sure there's a bunch of Funkos up there.
Yeah. I'm assuming there will be now. Every franchise has a Funko now. But yeah, if it goes, I'll be sad because I'm an unlimited card holder as well. So it means that Odeon's going to put everybody over the barrel with their limitless offers. So they're the only one that offers that kind of repeat monthly subscription. But I think Electric do a deal as well where you can have a membership which gives you a discount on a certain amount of tickets per year. So that's worth investigating. But yeah, I don't know. It's always sad to see something disappear.
But you never know. I mean, the AMC went Broadway Plaza.
Well, that's
Odeon, so you don't know who might take it over.
Yeah.
There's various other chains that might take it over.
I was going to say, I completely forgot the Empire Cinema at Great Park, which is another cinema.
Another chain might take it over. It's big. It's 11 screens.
Yeah. And it's got a full IMAX screen and the whole 4DX and stuff. So, latest Disney Plus series has dropped, and we have all witnessed it, and that's why Lee's not with us today, because we told him he was going to talk about She-Hulk, and he ran away out from the building, I think. But She-Hulk is with us. The first couple of episodes are now available on Disney Plus here in the UK. So, based on the eponymous She-Hulk character, created by Jessica Gao for TV, I believe, and she's writing and directing, I think, the vast majority of it.
I don't think she's actually the directing. I think she was originally involved with the series a while back, and then for one reason or another, it's being directed by different people.
It's been Kat Caro is the director,
so
but written by Jessica Gao, so she's written most of the episodes, I believe.
So she's kind of basically the showrunner.
Yes. So, do you want to explain She-Hulk as a character, as our comics expert, Keith?
Well, in the comics,
yes,
she's the cousin of Bruce Banner.
Yes.
Who, in the comics, undergoes a blood transfusion, which then imbues her with the power of a Hulk.
Yes.
But unlike her cousin, she's able to control it more. So she's more smart Hulk all the time.
Yes.
And she can decide when she transforms. So originally she was the Savage She-Hulk.
Yes.
Which is a name that's been dropped over the years. But she's gone through various iterations. One of the big ones in kind of the 80s was a John Byrne run, which kind of established this kind of fourth wall breaking, more comedic approach to the character, which works out quite well. And very recently, she's been returning in a mini-series written by Rainbow Rowell with Jack of Hearts playing a big part in the Jen story. But yeah, she's a cool character. She's been around for a long time.
Yes. So swerved slightly away with the MCU version, as I always do, to make it more fit the MCU movies. So spoilers will abound from here onwards, because we'll talk about episode 1. I don't know if you gents have seen episode 2 yet.
I haven't seen episode 2 yet.
I have.
We'll try not to spoil episode 2 for you, Keith.
Not that like all the pictures they put up online spoil it, kind of, still.
Well, I think the cast listing doesn't really help the situation when you go into IMDb, does it? So
yeah.
But so slightly variation. So in a car crash with Bruce after meeting, and then there's kind of blood gets swapped over, and that's how
which I thought was quite a subtle nod to the Incredible Hulk film, which starred Ed Norton as the Hulk rather than Mark Ruffalo.
There is some more references to that in episode 2, which I'm not going to spoil.
Okay.
It's highly amusing when that conversation comes up. But yes, so that's episode 1, and then it's her backstory about how she got these Hulk powers and learning how to control them, etc. And basically speedrunning what Mark Ruffalo's had to deal with over the last 5 years, but to get to Smart Hulk. But so cast is really good. Tatiana Maslany, I believe is the way you
can say that. That's fine.
Is that the right pronunciation?
Yeah, I guess.
Tatiana
I'm not going to argue with her if she comes in and tells us it's not.
She's Jennifer Waters, aka She-Hulk. Jameela Jamil's going to be having quite a big role. I think looking like it's going to be an antagonist based on the end of the first episode.
She's another Hulk. Well, not Hulk powered, but very powerful female fighting character.
Mark Ruffalo, as you expect, and spoilers. Some people are going to be turning from the MCU, which you're probably already aware of. So Tim Roth and Charlie Cox will be popping up at some point.
Okay.
But and Benedict Wong as well, because he's just
cool.
This is Phase Wong, I think.
Yeah.
Every single thing's had a bit of Benedict Wong.
It's going to be in every film and every TV series.
They'll just release the Phase Wong box set at the minute. But I don't know. What do you think of the first episode, then? Do you think it was a powerful, good start compared to something like Ms. Marvel? Do you think it's picking up and running with that ball, or do you think it's probably not as impactful as some of the MCU TV we've had so far?
I think so. For me, I find the Attorney at Law stuff a lot more interesting than the She-Hulk origin stuff. But what I find quite good about it is literally in the first 5 minutes she breaks the fourth wall and goes, okay, before we do the Attorney at Law bit, here's my origin story kind of thing. So I know that's what they were going for in episode 1.
Yeah.
So for me, I thought it was fine for a first episode, but I think the subsequent episodes are a lot more appealing to me.
I mean, it's going to be superhero Ally McBeal, isn't it? Which I'm kind of looking forward to be honest. It's a slightly different take from the standard MCU. We need to have a fight scene every episode. So I think that's when they diverted with that with WandaVision, when it was more about actually some character building. I really enjoyed that. I think that carried quite through into Ms. Marvel as well, where they gave chance for some character to develop and carry on. Falcon and Winter Soldier was a bit poorer because it was just reliant on the action all the way through, I think, and there wasn't really much development between Sam and Bucky. It was more, we hate each other, but we're going to be bros by the end of this series, and that was their entire arc. So, but I think at the MCU series so far, I'm quite enjoying it. I think it's got promise, but I'm not holding out too much from it. I think it's going to be more of a kind of throwaway, sidey character.
Yeah, and I think what I am enjoying is just more screen time for the Hulk and the whole Hulk persona, because I know obviously the way they've done Hulk in the MCU so far, he's always been a character that's featured in everyone else's stories or in the sort of like group stories, that kind of thing. There's never been a separate film, obviously based on previous iterations, performances. So it's nice to have an actual Hulk series, and I think that's where it shines, because there is that whole, you know, again, it's the whole sort of like character nuance, all the trauma, that kind of thing. Yeah, but I agree. I don't think it's not going to be like one of their standout, but it's going to be a decent.
Yeah, and I think I'm quite liking this new tack of having TV series alongside the tentpole flagship movies, and it's there if you want it. I don't think they've done anything huge in the TV series except for probably WandaVision that directly involves the movie so far. They've kind of kept those worlds quite separate but related.
Well, kind of Falcon and Winter Soldier has a major impact on what's going to happen with the movies going forwards.
Well, I think that
because
was
of the
pretty
change
much,
of status quo.
But I think that was pretty much already highlighted in Endgame with the Shield passing over. So if you didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, that entire series couldn't.
You have the introduction of characters who are going to end up being significant in later movies, because we've got the Thunderbolts coming up, and that sets a lot of Thunderbolts up in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I mean, for me, it's a case of the more the merrier. Really, I don't think everything that the MCU does has to be groundbreaking and earth-shattering and involve, you know, the fate of the entire universe.
No.
So I kind of like it, the fact that, again, much like Moon Knight, this is playing it a little bit more closer to, it's just one character story and the events and impact that it has on these small individuals. You know, so it's cool. I like the fact that Marvel are playing to the fact that this is what comics do.
Yeah.
You've got your big epic cosmic comics, and then you've got your kind of more down to earth comics.
Yeah.
You know, Netflix have already proven with things like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil, you can play this more street level stuff, and She-Hulk's running with that, but on a more comedic level. And
Netflix pretty much nailed that before we even got there with the whole their Netflix verse, which they're bringing partly back with Charlie Cox's Daredevil, and I'm assuming hopefully Jessica Jones and maybe a few other characters will pop up in the future. But it's nice that they're returning to having a small scale story which isn't world beating, and can't beat Galactus or Thanos every single film.
I think that the conversation that she has with Bruce in the first episode, where he's like, "Oh, you've got to be a superhero. You've got to be ready to save the world," and she's like, "Yeah, I kind of already do what I need to do as an attorney." And I kind of like that idea of, like, you know, to do good in the world, you don't have to be saving it from the Thanoses in the world. You know, you can do good in smaller ways by just fighting for right. And I kind of like that idea of, like, everybody can do their bit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think what I like about that kind of stuff as well is that it's trying to ground the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe into reality in a way. Like when it starts going into, okay, so you've got these obviously massive superheroes going off saving the universe, that kind of thing, but then actually what happens with the collateral damage, all of like the laws and that kind of thing. You know, it's bringing almost similar to like what The Boys does in the series, that kind of thing. It brings that kind of sense of reality back to it, of going, okay, we've had all these amazing, you know, superhero films, but actually what goes on the ground level with the ordinary people and everything else, and how tied to, you know,
life still goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of weird because they had the blip as their big kind of almost pandemic moment in the MCU, and now they've completely forgot it happened and moved past it and everything's gone back to normal. But that's kind of paralleled in real life a little bit, where a massive global pandemic happened, but everybody's gone back to just doing what they were doing before. mostly to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think the blip will still pop up every now and again
Yeah.
in terms of
I'm still waiting
the
for
significance
the
of
giant
it.
Eternal to pop up in the middle of the ocean.
Hey, he's just there. It's fine, you know.
just poking out. Not like it would affect the tides or anything like that.
It's cool. It's cool. I think it's just because Jet 2 haven't managed to pull together a kind of tourist expedition to it. You know, go and visit your local
And a Jess going on in the background.
frozen celestial. Yeah,
Build a restaurant on the hand sticking out.
a big foam party in the hand of that celestial. It's going to happen. It'll be the new Ibiza in a few years' time. That's where all the superheroes will go to party. But I think it's after one episode, it was funny. I was laughing within a few minutes, and it was like, oh, this is funny, and like little in jokes and nods and stuff like that. And I don't think the CGI bothered me in any way that people seem to make out before the show. Like, you know, I
think it was the typical thing of they popped the trailer out with in progress CGI and they fixed it ready for the show.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, the CGI looks terrible. It's like, yeah, because they're still working on it.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up watching Hulks where it was a bloke in green makeup and in slow motion. So, you know, anything is better than that. But, you know, I had fun with it. I'm going to watch the whole season.
Yeah. And I think Tatiana Maslany is bringing quite a nice take on the character to it. I'd never watched Orphan Black, but apparently she was amazing in that. So, and I think having somebody with a bit of acting chops never doesn't detract from it.
I think it's one of the things that Marvel have done well throughout their history of the modern MCU is they just cast extremely well.
Yeah.
You know, you cast characters and cast actors
Yeah.
Who bring something to the world.
So, I don't know, did either of you watch Orphan Black?
I watched the first season. And then I think the reason I didn't watch it all was because it appeared on the BBC for a bit and then kind of disappeared.
I think it went to Netflix.
And so I don't think I followed it up after that. But and by that time, I was too far behind, and it was like, I've got too many things.
Yeah, but I think solid first episode. Definitely worth continue watching.
Yeah,
and there's
fun.
been a whole bit of controversy about, she's more powerful than the Hulk. It's too woke. As usual detractors online, which really annoys me. And it's like Bruce is not going to actively try and kill his cousin.
No.
I think they've kind of missed that plot point there. It's like they can have a scrap, as cousins do, and have a fight without trying to kill each other.
Yeah, but also it's kind of what Keith said at the beginning. Like, she has all of this in the comics.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not even as if the character has been changed drastically in any way to sort of fit a 2022 narrative or whatever. It's just part of the lore.
Yeah.
I mean, Jen's always been kind of very self-aware.
Yeah.
In the comics, you know, to a point where, you know, almost Deadpool-ness of her. She's kind of aware of the fact that she's a superpowered beast of a woman.
Yeah.
And in the Rainbow Rowell series that's running at the moment in Marvel, you know, she's very aware of the fact of what being a Hulk means to her and how it causes her a lot of problems in life and stuff. And you know, she's always been a great character though.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's been a solid pick for something to do a series of, rather than maybe delving more into the cosmic angle, because that's where the MCU was heading quite a while.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of know where you're going when the actual title of the show is She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Yeah.
You know, it's not Savage She-Hulk; it's She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. So you kind of know most of it's going to be that side of her. Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but I think definitely will continue watching.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for joining us at the Geeky Brummie podcast this issue. Joining for today, as always, Miss Keith Bloomfield. Where can we find you, your persona online?
I love the way our outros always go this way. My social media feed can be found at hardluck_hotel on Twitter, which at the moment is basically just retweets of the Geeky Brummie
feed.
feed.
You've got your wonderful partners.
Oh,
book
illustrations.
series,
Yeah.
illustrations she's doing.
But
Do you want to give
that's
that a
quite
plug
good.
while we're here?
Yeah, if you just follow at Bymeeni, that's BYMEENI. She's currently doing a course which is putting together illustrations for a children's book. So she's putting out prompts for those every few weeks, which is looking really good. So any publishers out there who are looking for illustrators and stuff.
Yeah, there's been some fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's very nice. It's very much our own style, which is really cute and nice. And then it's without the underscore on Instagram, where I'm starting to put a few more pictures up.
A bit of colour
slowly. Yeah, just trying something different, because I realise I've only posted about 17 images on Instagram this year, which is pretty poor. And then on Wednesdays, you can find me on the Geeky Brummie Twitter feed, which is at Geeky Brummie, and the website with a bunch of suggestions for comics you may like to try out. The main pull list are actually the books that I am reading and buying for my sins. And then the on the radar books are the ones that I'm kind of either picking up in trades or reading digitally, just to prevent that pile next to the bed getting even huger.
Slightly too big.
Yeah.
And you also do a Meanwhile segment, which picks up local comic news.
Yeah, so recently we lamented the loss of Ice Comic Con and highlighted the fact that Worlds Apart Birmingham are doing a manga day, which you'll have missed now.
Which is
so
on now, yeah.
if you don't want to miss things, make sure you are reading the Geeky Brummie pull list on a Wednesday, and you will always not miss things.
Yeah, and best wishes and everything to Shane as well. And sorry to hear Ice is gone, but they are doing, I think it's him and Ollie McNamee do a Icecast.
Icecast, yeah. So they're doing a podcast with lots of comics creators. So after you've listened to us, by all means go and listen to their show.
Yes. And say that we sent you.
And say, and we endorse them fully.
Awesome, thank you. Matt, how about yourself? Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Matt Lovell, where mostly these days I'm sharing esports content, local esports content, Geeky Brummie content, and then just random things every now and then. On Instagram, matchstick_Matt, where you will find mostly selfies, to be completely honest, taken from one particular angle. And then you'll find me on the Geeky Brummie website and social media, where I'm writing largely esports content, but might pivot more towards Birmingham content quite soon. And on Twitter, supposed to be on a Monday, but I've not been very good at it.
Occasionally on Mondays you can find Matt on our Twitter.
Occasionally on Mondays. It's like a treat.
Well, I can't say I'm much better because I'm supposed to do the Tuesdays, and I think I've done one out of the last 10 because life's been life.
It's not a competition. It's fine.
It's like Keith every Wednesday. Here he is, 150 tweets.
Yeah, even if I'm on holiday or ill or whatever, it's like, I'm a beast.
Yeah. But you find me at Ryan Parrish on my normal Twitter, which is barren, apart from retweeting Geeky Brummie. You find, as we said, all of us at Geeky Brummie, where Keith does Wednesday. And not forgetting, of course, the wonderful Mr. Lee Price, who's not here today, but you can find him at Twitter at The Cheap Ferret. You can find him on YouTube at BobThePetFerret. And you can find him writing articles at Game Rant as well. I think he does quite a few listicles, so go and check those out. You can find myself, not in person, but at Ryan Parrish on Twitter, where it's just the Geeky Brummie retweet channel. But you can find me also at Brummie Gourmand. MasterChef's on. I might just do my MasterChef bingo again this year, which is always good fun. Mainly is how many times can Greg Wallace say "lovely" each episode. And what else? Oh yes, Geeky Brummie. You can find us all at Geeky Brummie. So I'm on Tuesdays occasionally. Matt's on Mondays occasionally. Lee does Fridays frequently, and Keith does Wednesdays periodically.
Nice, I like that.
And don't forget my lovely wife, Mrs. Vivian, who also is at Vivian on Twitter, but she runs our Geeky Goings On account as well and looks after weekends on Geeky Brummie. But Geeky Goings On is a great events page to see what's coming up and geeky in Birmingham and the Midlands area. So do go and check that out. Like, comment, the buttons, press them, click them, make the bell ring, those things down there, bottom. Really, thank you.
Yes, please like, subscribe, comment,
and share.
Because apparently the analytics gods love that kind of stuff.
I think I need to have a spicy hot take every episode now, so we can put that on the first bit before we actually go into the show.
I think we should make up fake sponsorships every episode.
Yeah, we could do that. But anyway, thank you for joining us. We shall see you again soon. But for now, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This issue has been sponsored by gamma radiation. Please avoid it at all costs because it could cause you to Hulk out, which apparently, according to the She-Hulk series, is not good for people without the right DNA. So,
if you have suffered from the effects of gamma radiation, call 1-800-MEAN-GREEN.
yes. So our advice is avoid gamma radiation.